Här kommer ett kort meddelande från Kostas reklambyrå. Snart ska vi sända ett program som heter Kostas jubileumhits volym 3. Häng med!
Hello, YouTubers. I was asked to show the contents of some different parcels that I showed at the YouTube channel, and I will do that in a minute. But first, I'd like to say a few words. The first seconds that you saw there was video recording from 2005. 2005, made of my best friend, since, well, we met in preschool back in 1980, and we stayed best friends for, well, 30 years. The last 5-6 years we didn't have that many, well, we didn't meet that often. We met every time I went up north, but we didn't really stay that much in touch. And I'm sad to say that 4th September last year he passed away, and that was just 2 months after I met him the last time. His last years was quite difficult, but you don't really expect that to happen. He was just 37 years old, a bit older than me. We met, as I said, in preschool. We were both great friends during all the school years and after school, and kept in touch. I became a teacher. I moved south. He worked worked with laundry for several years, and he said he was very happy with that. He was also interested in records, although he really preferred CDs for the convenience. But he had some. We are at the age where we grew up with vinyls. So I'm going to, just as a tribute to my good friend, show some records that I have in my collection that he would probably like, and that I connect with him in some sense. I have to say also, it takes time to really understand that your best friend for 30 years aren't with us anymore. For me, it has taken a long time. It has been a very slow mourning. One of the things that we enjoyed most doing was making recordings of different kinds. Not that much music, but some music too, but mainly recordings where we were just goofing off. Fun recordings, comedy recordings. And since I've always been since I always liked making recordings, I have loads of recordings on cassette tapes and on mini discs and nowadays on CDs and on MP3s that we made together. When I can listen to them now and realize that we had such a fun time. And I remember the first time after I learned about him being gone, I was really hesitating before listening to any of the recordings we had made, because I wasn't really sure how I would react. But still, when I did it, I reacted with joy. It was fun to listen to them, and it was fun memory. And that he's gone, yeah, he is gone, but he's still there. He's on these recordings. He's in our memories. And also, there are some short film clips of him. One of them was the one you saw there, where he talked about a new recording that me and him was about to do in 2005 for a fake radio show called Radio Kostad. So, that's about that. He's my best friend, and he hasn't really found a replacement. But instead of having one really profound, deep friend, I have more friends. Maybe not as profound, not as deep, it doesn't go that way back, but still, we're good friends. In many cases, they have the same interests as I have, which helps. Well, it's not necessary, but it helps. I've almost considered many of you people in the vinyl community as friends, although I haven't met any of you yet. So I have to say that you mean quite a lot to me, and maybe even more now, when I don't have to continue with that. I'm going to show you some records that I think that he would enjoy, and then I'm going to finish this video by showing you a couple of the records I got in these parcels today. Some of them are really interesting, I think, for most of you, but I'm going to show you anyway. But the first record I'm going to show is this. And all of you in Sweden recognize what this is. It's a live comedy recording from 1970, or 71, sorry, with the Swedish legendary comedians Hans Alfredsson and Tage Danielsson. They did a show, and the jazz pianist Gunnar Svensson. They made a very small show together in 1970 at the restaurant called Treppet, which was down here in the Värta harbor in Stockholm. And this was a great success on stage. And when the vinyl record was issued in 1971, that was a great success too. And this is my copy, and I got it some years ago. I had it on a cassette before. But also, this was a part of Roger's parents' record collection. They had bought this, and we listened to it. It was extremely scratchy, and it pops and clicks every time. It played through without problems. But we listened to this over and over and over and over again until we knew all the song numbers, all the comedy sketches here, and we could perform them, me and him. I think if I were pushed today, I might even be able to recite parts of this album by heart even today, even if I haven't listened to it for a couple of years now. So this was what inspired us to make some comedy recordings. 88 Revyn, as it's called. And there was a Swedish comedian, or, well, entertainer, whose speciality it was to call people and talk to them, and it was recorded and released on records with different themes. And his name was Carl-Axel Ternberg, but on record he was called Kalle Sändare, and he has passed away a couple of years ago, but he has a very strong fan base who's still very active, with a appreciation society called Gris- och Skridskoföreningen, which means pig and skate society, which was typical of his sense of humor. It was something that Kalle Sändare himself invented. And this is one of his records. It's called Trollkarlen El Sosos öden och äventyr. The Destinies and Adventures of the Magician El Soso, on Sonnet. And this was a record that was in the same record collection that Roger's parents and Roger had, and his older brothers. He had two older brothers. One of them who's sadly not alive. He passed away 17 years ago. So when I listen to these records with Kalle Sändare, I also think a lot of my old friend. Also, Roger loved music. He had different music tastes than, I guess, most of you in the vinyl community, he likes Swedish pop music of a more simple kind. He liked the Swedish dance bands. I've talked a bit about dance bands because I'm quite keen on it, although it's not what I listen to every day, but I have this maybe sentimental memories connected to it that still makes me like it. And so he had lots of records, mainly on CD, some vinyls, but mainly on CD. One of them I managed to get hold on quite rare LP, and it's a group from the southern Sweden called Grönvalls. This is their first album. It's from 1992, so it's quite rare on vinyl. It was issued on the Frituna label, and Roger was very fond of this group and very fond of the singer Monja Sjöström and her voice. And I can understand it's competent, very good dance music, good music to dance to in a Swedish dance hall, dark, with maybe some alcohol inside you. I can understand it, and I was happy to get hold of this. It's quite rare on vinyl, but maybe not the kind of thing that we talk about in the vinyl community, but why not? It's good. So, that was a bit about my friend, and today it is 1 year since he passed away. I'm going to show you what was in the parcel because you asked so kindly, and I'm going to show you a record that actually I think Roger would have liked because it's dance band, and it's a compilation from the 70s of the group Flamingo Quintet, single LP, an LP that consists of recordings from singles on their own Flam label. I can show you. They were so successful that they could start their own label that existed between 1970 and 1985. It looks like that. Quite neat, actually. And agreeable Swedish dance band music. This group was formed back in 1960. It started as a pop group in the instrumental violence, instrumental shadows style, but they developed into a dance band, and they still play together with two original members, which is quite amazing. 52 years later. This I was actually inspired by Jonas. I've been very inspired by Jonas' videos. I have to say that. I didn't really think about buying this. It's the Sherry Thing by Nene Sherry and the Thing on the Small Town Super Sound label, and I ordered this on mail and it was sold out, but they got in a new stack of records, so I got it delivered today, and I look forward to listen to this later. Now I'm going to show you an upgrade of a record that I also think that Roger would have liked. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's called Kurama, and it consists of a number of songs in very different styles, but what they have in common is that they are totally bonkers, totally zany, and the two people behind the Kurama project is ABBA's engineer, Michael B. Treto, and the singer-songwriter, the late great singer-songwriter Ted Gärdestad, who made this album when they just had so much fun together. And Treto described it. They had so much fun doing this album, and you can hear it. It's totally mad, totally mad. And I've had this for many years, but my copy has been quite worn, so I managed to get hold of this one. And this is a bit special because this edition was probably sold around Christmas. It says a special red Christmas plastic. So It is actually in red vinyl, and it's on the trash label. If you ever find this somewhere, listen to it, and either you'll hate it or you'll just love it. I love it because it's so mad. I get in such a good mood every time I listen to it. It's so humorous. And there was a famous single from this album called Habba Habba Zut Zut that you may have heard sometime. So I got this nice red vinyl edition now. Oh yeah, there was a cassette too, and it's nothing special. It's just I bought it for almost nothing, and it's a tape from another Swedish dance band called Thorleifs. They started in 1962, and they are just now doing their farewell tour, I think, 50 years later. Quite amazing, playing together for 50 years. Also with 2 original members in the band. And this is just an ordinary cassette from 1978. Like the Flamingo Quintet. And these guys also had their own record label because they were so successful with their sales. They had their own label, Tour. Yeah, so nothing special there, but you wanted to see what was in it. I think the most interesting vinyls here that I got today was Kurama, of course, and the Cherry Thing, and I look forward to listen to that later. So there was that, some records that I got hold of, and yeah, rest in peace, oh buddy. Bye.